Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. It's episode 8 of our Cheltenham Festival ante-post series. We're coming to our final couple of episodes now, as we're only a couple of weeks away from the Cheltenham Festival. And luckily, we've got entries for all 9 Cheltenham Festival handicaps. We did a handicap video last week, and we're now going on to a couple more handicaps. We still haven't got the official marks yet, but we can still give a good stab at what these Irish horses might get from the British handicapper when they come over. And we're joined by Love Island's finest, as I like to call him, Frankie Foster. Frankie, how are you on this fine evening?
I'm all right, yeah. It's been a while since Love Island. I'm an OAP Love Islander now, a vintage one. But yeah, all good. We're just chatting, weren't we? It's kind of that, it sounds bad talking about racing for the weekend coming up, but it's that weird period before Cheltenham. You've kind of seen all the horses you want to see run. There's a little bit of decent action Saturday, and there'll be one more, probably Sandown will be the best card, won't it, next weekend or the weekend after. Yeah. And then we're into it. So steady couple of weeks, and yeah, looking forward to the festival now, really.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, they gave me a phone call for Love Island, but I was busy at the time. So they went for yourself.
Too busy looking at the handicap weights.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We will be uploading this video on Sunday evening, so it's actually a good time to say, what is your one fancy for the weekend, and we can see whether it's won or lost by the time this video goes out.
Oh, St. Calvados.
Good man.
Cobden takes over. That's the key for me. I think 154. That horse is only rated that because, bless him, David Maxwell's been a passenger the last 2 times. And you know, if the horse retains its ability, that is a proper grade 1 horse. And I think Cobden will be licking his lips off 154 for the weekend. So I think it's a solid each way bet anyway.
It's fantastic. Both of the Shire men, both of the Cheltenham men are agreeing on St. Calvados. I'm in numbers today to take on the Northern and whatever Harry is. I don't even know what he is. Harry, Britain for the Presbyterian Cup. Is that your nap for this week?
Oh, no, that is not my nap. I usually get nailed every single week for some silly selections I put up. But I don't know what, people have been nailing me. And it was the first day, wasn't it, the Tuesday last year? And we had quite a few winners. And I was thinking, surely not. And then it was just the Irish dominance, wasn't it, really? Frankie, I've got a question for you, mate. When you were in the island, when you were in Love Island, was there many of the lads that you were talking to about racing? If there was, who? Or was it just after Love Island, was it that you really got stuck into racing?
No, I always went racing, but no one in there really had a clue. Adam Collard's been to a couple of Cheltenham festivals. I still remember he's actually up in your neck of the woods, and he's a Geordie. Not yours, yeah. And I've still got a funny voice note from him saying, "I've been told to back this mighty bitey." But yeah, no, Adam's been, and then Charlie hadn't been racing in Cheltenham before, and he wouldn't be a racing fan as such to talk about it horse-wise, but he enjoyed the day out, so I ended up taking him a couple of years as well, and now he's quite into it, so he's got the bug from doing a few festivals with me. But no, there was no talk about class 3 or 4 handicaps in the villa, that's for sure.
What did you chat about if you can't talk about Wolverhampton on Wednesday? You know, come on.
Good question.
Lee, yeah,
very good. Anyway.
Lee, good action to look forward to this weekend, and some good races to cover in 3 handicap chases. I'm sure you're very excited.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone loves the handicaps. You can get some good prices and hopefully steal a bit of value before everyone plunges in. Maybe it's in the week before, but yeah, that's tough to call, but it's mainly because the Irish handicap marks, seeing what tax they'll get. So, yeah, let's get involved. Let's go.
By the time our next ante-post video comes out, we will have the official marks. I would have gone to Cheltenham Racecourse and picked up my free food for the handicap weights lunch. I literally cannot wait. We'll move on to the first race we're covering. As I said, we're covering 3 handicap chases. We covered 3 handicap hurdles last time, and we're starting with the Ultima, the first handicap of the week of the festival, and it's into Overdrive topping the market 9-1 for Mark Walford there. We've got Naslam in there at 10s, the Goffer 10-1 after his Dublin Racing Festival victory. 355, the same price. Coat Rambler, last year's winner at 12. So it's very much a race dominated by the British. It's got this stigma that the Irish don't like to come and take it on, Frankie. Are you sticking patriotically with the British for this race?
Yeah, there's a couple I'll mention. I've just had a brief flick through at this stage, but Nasalam you mentioned at the top of the market, I quite fancy that. This is its only entry. That, 6th in November and then 3rd on New Year's Day, when 6th was badly hampered and all the horses in front, Garlow, although he fell, had every chance at the last. French Diamond went on, I think, to win in the Saddles. Midnight River went on and won. Il Rodotto has won since. Like, that form looks like he's stacking up quite nicely. And then when he was 3rd, I think maybe just slightly outpaced and did ended up staying really well, actually, but maybe slightly outpaced around the turn. And as I said, this is his only entry, so this would be where he's going and the trip that they think will suit him best. And they obviously know more than me, but I'd agree. I'd like to see him have a crack at this. Obviously, short enough for the towards the top of the market before we've even had weights out. But Nasalam looks one that probably well suited. Oscar Elite will be a popular choice, I'm sure, after winning at Ascot, 3rd in this race last year. And when you look at the weights, I think, what did he go off last year? Was it 135 or something like that? 138. I think he's progressed beyond that as a horse, and he does have his quirks, but comes into himself this time of year. So I'm sure it'll be a popular choice. He won really well, didn't he? Completely pinged the last Ascot. And then I'm interested to see what Iron Maximus does for Woody Mullins, who we could kind of class as a British horse, so he was.
Yeah, he was.
Before going over to Ireland. I think that's one to have a look at, where as we get closer towards where horses might run, he's got an entry in the plate as well. But another that, 4th in the Ballymore last year, has been tried in some better races, depending on what mark he gets, could be quite attractive for a handicap. So they'd be the 3 at this stage I'm looking at. But yeah, like Nasalam, it seems all systems go for a race like this,
I think what's key for Naslam, and I think for a few selections, is that he has only got that one entry, because obviously you could go to the Kim Muir with other horses like his type, but it looks like, for picking him at 10-1, Frankie, it looks like he's sort of nailed on for the race. So it's a pretty solid ante-post bet, would you think? Yeah,
I don't think his price will change too much. I mean, some will obviously come out which will shorten up, but if you wanted to back him before, then he's definitely not going to lengthen in price, because that's his only entry. So it wouldn't be a bad stage to back him. And I quite like the fact when a horse does only have the one entry, you can kind of see what they're thinking a little bit more in the races that they've planned before. He's been racing over 2.5. If it's always been the plan to come here, then maybe his mark's been protected slightly for that. We're still yet to see his best, and hopefully that will come true at the festival. So, yeah, Nasalam will be one to bat really before horses start dropping out, because he definitely won't lengthen.
Yeah, definitely. And if Iron Maximus does win, I don't think that'll count towards the British score in the Press Cup, although he was at Nintendo, unfortunately. We'll plead with them to see if they'll give it to us as a pity point. Harry, a horse mentioned there by Frankie, I know that you're a fan of, is Oscar Elite. Won last weekend in... I can't remember the race now, but he won a graded race off levels, and you're interested by this horse with the Ultima.
Yeah, that's right, Ash. There's no secret, is it, that the Irish have a horrific record in this. Bar the Champion Hurdle, it's probably the only other certainty that the British have actually got to have another success to the name, to be fair. So, but I just did a little bit of research, and 4 out of the first 5 home last year in front, they were rated 140 or less, and all of them were carrying low weights in the 10 stone category. That pays dividends in this race. And if you're taking that literally, you can see Oscar Elite only £1 higher, as Frankie mentioned earlier, than last year's 3rd, where he actually did come with a winning run. He just got outstayed by Coat Rambler, who's literally favourite for the one of the favourites for the national. So he just got outstayed that day. He's a little bit touchy on his jumping, I think. I mean, he made a few mistakes around Ascot, but I mean, Frankie, you did mention as well that that jump at the last was just outrageous. He absolutely pinged it. So when he does see a good one, he is good. I think he is better than 139. I think there's plenty of improvement. I think because he is a little bit better than his mark, he can get away with the little mistakes that he does come at his fences, because he's got that little bit more weight in hand. So I just think he was completely unfancied last year at 20. I think he was 22-1. He's currently 12-1. I don't think he'd be that price especially for a Twitter horse that he is at the minute. Everyone seems to be jumping on the bandwagon. So for me, I think it'd be, with a repeat performance of his Ascot run and his third last year, I think it'd be tough. I think it could be tough to beat at 12-1.
Yeah, he's only given £4 as well, which is kind enough from the handicapper, because if he'd read it literally on the form there, I don't know what Racing Bold Endeavour was, but he's beaten him by 7 lengths. He's beaten a 145 horse by 7 lengths. If the handicapper read that literally, he could have been very harsh. But
well, I just want to say on that
£4.
one, Ash, as well. Like, he's won by 7 lengths. Stumptown won off 125 by 7 lengths at Sandown. And if you think that horse is going to get £4, then you're living in cloud cuckoo land, because there's no way. They'll absolutely smash him for that. So I think he's favourite for the he's one of the favourites for the Kim Muir, I want to say. So whether he'd be interesting if he turned up here. But then again, the Irish record in this is just horrific. So I'm just leaning. Everything seems to Oscar Elite for me.
Very nice. Lee, I'll give a shout. I've got a couple in this race, and to save
that
me
means
talking
10, Frankie. This means 10.
to save me talking loads at the end, I'll mention one now in before. I think Monbeg Genius could be interesting for John Joe Neal, a progressive chaser, only at £5 for making all at Chepstow the last day. He was travelling all over them, then sort of just got overjumped the last a little bit, had to be shaken up by Johns Jr., but then went and kicked away well. Yard think a lot of him, I think, as well. 14-1, 137 should get him in. I think it would have got him in the last.
Yeah, it would do. It will get him in. It will.
I'm not too sure. I think it's like I've got it somewhere about Castle Robbing, so I'm going to mention him.
He's got an entry on the Saturday, hasn't he, in a 4-miler?
Yeah, the Midlands National. Well,
Midlands
Genius as well.
National,
he's going
yeah.
for the Midlands National, isn't he? So.
Well, he's entered for that. It'll be interesting to see if he goes there, of course. But I think 137 gets him in the 4 of the last 6 renewals, I think, of the Ultima. So fingers crossed he could sneak into the bottom. But is there anything that you like at a decent price for the Ultima?
I've mentioned it a few weeks back, but I do like Corrit Rambler going in again. Dropped £1 since its Coral Gold Cup run the last day there. Remastered had come out and obviously won. He was second. He won again the next time out. I think, look, he's up £6, but I don't think that was a bad run. Could have run in the Cotswold Chase. Obviously, they're second favourite, I think, for the Grand National now, but I just think everything went wrong and he still won with plenty in hand. He was out the back. He didn't get a good start and he flew home. And I think I don't think that mark's too bad, to be fair. I did like Nassalam. There's a young lad who rides for Gary Bois, the claiming lad. They might put him out. I can't remember his name. Slips me mind, sorry. But and I also do like Oscar Elite, but like Frankie says, he's a quirky horse. You have to maybe catch him right. Long time between drinks since he won, but he always promised to do better, and he put it together at the weekend gone. But it's just whether he puts 2 runs together, to be honest. So Oscar Elite and Naslam, I do.
And on that bombshell,
lost him there for a second. I thought I lost me there. No, he's back.
He's gone. He's
Last
back.
week.
Was it Oscar Elite was the final conclusion there, was it?
No, Corrit Rambler is my main pick. I've already backed him, and I think he's got a good shout.
Fantastic stuff. I'll give a shout to 2 more there, and as I've sort of like hinted at, Castle Robin I think is probably my strongest one at this stage. Only given £4 for a nice one at Sandown last time out. He's a proper stayer. He's won over 3 miles 3 times this season on ranging from soft to good to soft ground. The key form for me though is his 4th at Kelso in October. The race was won by Sounds Russian, and Iwright was in second. Sounds Russian's improved £11. Gone and finished second in the Cotswold. A good 4th in the Many Clouds and was second in the Roland Merrick. Iwright was also 4th in the Roland Merrick as well. So the form has been really sort of like stamped on there. Castle Robin was 4th there, 10 lengths back, but he was running on, and he was actually running £1 out of the handicap that day. He was rallying to the line. He got the best of Darasha Counter and Evers Oscar into 4th place. Evers Oscar's come out and finished second to Does He Know at Cheltenham and won a race at Cheltenham after that as well. So that horse improved £3. As I said there, sort of like mentioning with Monbeg Genius, 138 currently is Castle Robin's mark. That would have got him in 4 of the last 6 renewals of the Ultima. Charlie Longston, I don't think he's ever had a festival winner. Now, I could be wrong, but I checked for his stats. I don't think he's ever had a festival winner. So this could be his first if he's to go to this race. And I'd like Castle Robin currently. And I'll give a small shout to Cloudy Glen. I thought you were on a belting race in the Grand National Trial the week just gone. £5 higher than his Ladbrokes Gold Cup win, which is the Hennessy, back in 2021, where him and Fiddler on the Roof just pulled a mile clear of the rest. Dropped £5 this season so far for a pulled up and 9th out of 16th attempt. Sorry, that was in the 2021-22 season, and yeah, I think it was his first run for about a year. Was in the Grand National Trial, so yeah, it was a good reappearance. Maybe he didn't fully stay out the 3 mile 4 and back down to something like 3 mile 2 of the Ultima. I think he could be really interesting in an Ultima. So we've got some horses to go to war with, and we're going on to the Grand Annual as the next race to talk about. This is one where the Irish don't mind having a winner in, but obviously last year was won by Global Citizen for Ben Pauling, I think I'm right in saying. There's a nice couple of horses in here to mention. My cards aren't loading on the Racing Post, so I'm going to have to go to Frankie first without prices. Grand Annual, what will you be looking at to start with for the Wednesday race?
Grand Annual at the top, Acuan, Risque, Saint Royal. Probably you'd think go to the article, wouldn't you? Final Orders, Unexpected Party. Final Orders, you've got to take note of Gavin Cromwell. He's been banging in winners, hasn't he, at Cheltenham? He definitely would have got that horse right for a race at Cheltenham. It was second on its chase debut, and then has won 5 on the bounce, I think. It was really impressive at Leopardstown last time out. It's a horse that's done a ridiculous amount of racing for only a 7-year-old. It's kind of one you're waiting to see what they weight it, because was impressive in my opinion last time out. 5 on the bounce. The handicap soon has to catch up with these horses. But if Gavin Cromwell does what Gavin Cromwell does, he will have it probably still with a little bit in hand. So Final Orders, I'll be waiting for Tuesday to have a look at. Elixir de Nuts, another Tizard horse. He's got a strong hand in both of these handicaps, I think. Although pulled up last time at Cheltenham, we know before that he does race well around Cheltenham and has been really impressive recently. A second and then 2 firsts. Oh, sorry, second and first and a second. I think that run behind Fernand Sibilla at Newbury, considering Fernand Sibilla goes really well there, I thought that was very impressive. Probably rated at the top of the 140s, 147. I think represents a very good chance. I like him around Cheltenham and got a good bit of speed about him when he gets into a rhythm. And then would there be one more in here? Maybe Sam Thomas's Before Midnight, worth a mention. Another man that's been doing a great job at targeting horses for the right handicaps. Another horse that has raced around Cheltenham before and won round Cheltenham actually in October, beating Sky Pyro, previous festival winner. So that's more just one to flag up. We'll see how his horses get on this weekend. He's got a runner, hasn't he? He's at our power on Saturday because he hasn't had another runner in a while. But again, he's a great man for targeting a big handicap, and he's been doing a great job of that this season, particularly at Cheltenham as well. So they'd be the 3 at this stage. Final Orders, we'll see what the handicapper does. Elixir de Nuts, I think, is fairly solid. I think this is a race to suit him if he runs here. And Before Midnight for Sam Thomas.
Thank you very much. Grand Annual, Frankie, is a race that I really enjoy watching. 2 mile chasers, personally my favourite. What's your record like in the Grand Annual, if you can remember? Have you fairly successful over the years gone by?
Who won it last year?
Global Citizen for Ben Pauling.
Yeah, it was in an absolute swamp, wasn't it? Absolute.
Yeah, I backed Sky Pirate when that one.
Yeah.
Probably less of being a good judge and more of Scove saying he had a good chance on it, if I'm honest.
Didn't he win it the year before? Didn't it win it the year before, Sky Pirate?
Yeah. I think that was yeah. When it won a race and everyone thought, oh, he's blown his handicap mark, and then he went and won the Grand Annual. That was good, if I'm right in saying.
Yeah. But God, as I'm looking back through, I wouldn't say it'd be that good. I'd probably be better off in a 2.5 or a 3 miler than a 2 mile handicap. Because
Frankie's more a staying horse, are you? More of a staying horse, you are.
That'd be it, yeah.
Good man.
Myself, anyway. Not much speak about me these days.
Harry, the prices as they read on my screen: Orcan Risk 8-1, top in the market. Dino Blue 10s, Final Order 10s, Sanwa 10s, Unexpected Party the same price, Core Sublime 11s, and Third Time Lucky at the same price as well. Anything interesting you towards the top of the market, Harry?
Well, I actually did, in fact, I don't know whether I've told you all boys before, but I actually did tip up Orcan Risk at 16s for the Betfair Hurdle.
You should have mentioned.
Yeah, he absolutely. He could have gone round again. He could have gone round again and still beat Farley Bay, and people saying Farley Bay should have won. No, he shouldn't. Listen, Farley Bay absolutely ate a hurdle. He had so much time to get back at Auckland Risk, and he didn't. And Auckland Risk was giving him a fair bit of weight as well. And Farley Bay was supposed to be the handicap good thing. Listen, Auckland Risk is a solid horse. I don't need to tell everyone how much I really think he is. A proper tryer. Chris. Now, here's an interesting one for you boys. Chris Gordon has saddled 54 different horses this season, and he's won with 27 of them. Now, that is ridiculous. That is just... and this fella is officially on ratings his best one that he's saddled this year. Obviously, the Betfair Hurdle, massive handicap. His handicap record is 1-1-2 against Frode Arms, who's rumoured to be a Grade 1 horse, and then obviously he won the Betfair. So he's won 3 out of the 4 and came second, giving weight away to Frode Arms. He won his first one by 10 lengths. Second one, he won by a nose when he nearly gave the weight of another horse to the second. He finished second to Frode Arms, as I mentioned, and then he gave weight away to Farley Bay. I think it's going to take a proper, well-handicapped, Grade 1 horse to beat him. And looking in the market there, lads, I just can't find one. We were talking off just before we went live. Sant Roy's in there at 153. That horse is going to get nailed by the handicapper. There's no way he's going to be able to justify being well handicapped. Dino Blue, again, you're thinking, I mean, Dino Blue, she could be well handicapped, but I just think that the more I look at it, the more I just think Auckland Risk is just an absolute good thing for this.
A good thing in the handicap. Well, even the official marks. Harry's that confident.
I just think I just don't know why. He runs well at Cheltenham.
I don't know why. That's great. Yeah, that's confidence. I don't know why.
Yeah, but then people try and do you know what? It bugs me a little bit because you try and find against the favourite sometimes, and people make cases saying the favourite won't win. Listen, if it's obvious, which it is to my eyes, just stay with the favourite. You get an 8-1 about a horse who's going to take one hell of a beating. So Auckland Risk, Chris Gordon, what is he at the minute? I think he's about 40%. Yeah, he is 40% at the minute. If he's still firing on all cylinders, he will not be 8-1 on the day.
No, he was really happy with his Betfair Hurdle win, to be fair. So good luck to Harry, good luck to Chris. Lee, yourself, what were you liking for the Grand Annual?
I like last season's runner-up, Andy Dufresne. I think he's not been running as solid as last season, so I think they might drop him a couple of pounds, and I think he can go close. He needs to be ridden forward. He stays better. And he just got left behind in that ground last season behind Global Citizen, come home with a wet sail and was second. If Sant Roy went, I know it's a tough mark, but I do think he could carry that weight. I think this race would suit him down to the ground. A strong run Grand Annual. He done it in the county. He come there tanking with Barry Geraghty, and this type of race, I know they'll probably go Arkle, but it would suit him down to the ground. And I can see the case for Auckland Risk. It just puts us off that he's had colic. I know he was only out for a few days there last week and he's back in training, but that type of stuff, when you're taking a favourite for a handicap at Cheltenham and recovering from colic only 3 weeks beforehand, you don't know what that effect will have on the horse. Obviously, he's won that big handicap. He's run solid races behind the likes of Boot Hill and stuff like that. But Andy Dufresne, I'd probably take as my best bet so far.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, he ran second last year, so he's got good course experience, a good horse. Just the one for me in the Grand Annual, which was interesting compared to my other handicaps I've been putting up. This again depends on what the handicapper sort of like targes him, because it's an Irish horse. But Midnight Run for Joseph O'Brien, I think is quite a nice horse. I'm sort of trusting my eyes a little bit here. Bolts up at Punchestown 2 starts ago to beat Mars Harper. Now that form probably isn't worth the paper that it's written on, but he absolutely bolted up that day. Really, really nice horse. He then ran a belter in October at Punchestown, finished third to Adamantly Chosen, a 152 horse who has good Mighty Potter form. And Visionarium was in second, a 148 horse, second to Samoa 2 starts ago. Fourth in a beginner's chase in 2021. It was that sort of fairly close fourth, a mixed finish there. The race was won by Gabby Nacco, who was second in the Arkle just gone, and Fury Roads who's now the second favourite in the Ryanair. It was actually running a fair race in the Drinmore as well last season before falling 3 out for Gigginstown. In another beginner's chase, he was second to Captain Guinness. So I'm just reeling off these like really, really good horses. Like Captain Guinness is a 161 horse, and it's like a little. Probably might go to the champion chase. You know, he's an interesting horse. I'm reeling off these horses. I think Midnight Run's 141 Irish mark. So imagine he gets maybe the handicapper looks through his back form, gives him £5, 146. I have no issue with that at all. He hasn't run in a handicap to date, but I think he could be the age-old stereotype of a graded horse in a handicap. He even beat Cole Reevy in a maiden hurdle and was second to Envoy Allen in a bumper. So he's really got the engine. Joseph O'Brien said that everything needs to come right for him to put it together. But I think if it is the day where he puts it together, he's always been a little bit of a bridesmaid. I think Midnight Run has the capabilities of outrunning his odds, excuse the pun, and he could be about 25. I think it's 25 to 1, could be well handicapped. So I'll be going Midnight Run for the Grand Annual, and we're moving on to the final race we're talking about.
I'm just can I just jump in just about the Sam Roy thing?
Won't win.
GP has already got John Bon in the Arkle, and also Willie Mullins has got El Fabiolo, Daysart, even Flea and Bear and stuff like that in behind. So they might take a chance, I think, off a big weight. But GP's won it, I think. Le Presien, I think, for Paul Nicholls. I think he's won it a couple of times, and just with them having John Bon, they might take the chance, and with Willie having so many runners, I think it would suit him to the ground, even though it'd be a tough mark, but just something to consider.
Well, no, connections wise, it does make sense. It's whether I think it generally will depend on what mark he gets given. They got like a 156 potentially. They could maybe run off that. Like what was Andy Dufresne?
Andy Dufresne was 155 when he was second last year, was he?
Yeah. So it's feasible. It is feasible. And like he'd be a high weight, but he would is deserving that weight definitely.
Yeah.
We'll go on then to the plate handicap chase. The final handicap we're going to be covering 2.5 miles. I can just see Harry's excitement and the fact we're going to make call Cody. I can see it building up. But top of the market, So Scottish 5 to 1. Emmett Mullins, Horton Calor 8 to 1. Adamantly Chosen 9s. Balco Coastal 10s. Though it looks like he might be going to the Turners. That's the last I heard anyway. Iridoto same price as is his stablemate Stage Star. Fugitive in there at 12s, and Midnight River, 12 to 1 as well. I'm going to keep Harry waiting. I'm going to go over to Frankie. Frankie, Cool Cody won it last year to the delight of everyone in Cheltenham Racecourse, it seems. And he's back down to a winnable mark. Will you be giving the old boy a shout, or are you looking elsewhere for the plates?
I won't, I'm afraid. I think he's had his day.
Frankie.
But we never know. Evan Williams is a trainer I can't seem to get right. When I back them, they seem to be pulled up. And when he wants them to win, they win by 10. He can get a horse right for handicap, that's for sure. I just cannot seem to follow him in the right way. I can never get his horses right.
Listen, if you didn't do your brains on him against St Calvados when he was 11 to 4, then honestly, that was the shrewdest bet I've ever had in my life.
Well, I thought it was the shrewdest bet in my life. 6 to 1 St Calvados ante-post, and he goes off 1 to 3 and loses. I could not believe my life. Anyway.
Brutal. Well, that's why he's going to win at the weekend, you see, because he lost that race. So.
It all comes together, doesn't it? We all love when a plan comes together.
Got a couple in here. Horton Colour, who knows what to make of that horse. I still think he's got a big day in him and he's talented, but he's a nightmare to follow. Stage Star could have a crack off of a top weight again, like won really well, didn't he? Carrying, was it 12 turn or 11-12 or something like that? Definitely could that would really wouldn't surprise you from Nicholls just to chuck one in that is talented enough to go and win at the top of the weights.
I think we'd know more about that as well, Frankie. We'd know more about Stage Star just on that, because I think he's entered tomorrow. So if he was to come out tomorrow, that'd really boost the form. Yeah, he runs in the. Ash, we've tipped him up, mate. So I'm surprised.
That's all right, Gino, who was second.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying if That's All Right, Gino comes out and wins tomorrow, that'd really boost the form of Stage Star. And then Frankie, your case there is 10 to 1. That could be massive, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's a good race, that, isn't it? That what is it? That's Right, Gino, Solo, and Boot Hill, which will obviously be in the past when this is out. So yeah, hopefully, if That's Right, Gino's won that race, as we thought, then it'll be a boost for Stage Star. But yeah, it would be Nicholls-esque to just go right. He's good enough. Let's have another crack. He ran really well last time, and it wouldn't surprise me. Fast or Slow, I think, is worth a mention. Was 2 lengths behind Horton Colour. I like to see a horse like this in a handicap. He What was he second in at the festival? Coral Cup, yeah.
Coral, yeah.
Second in the Coral, and then has just been chucked in 2 Grade 1s, which is obviously not good enough. But by finishing out the back of the field, sometimes can give them a little bit of wiggle room in the handicap because he just hasn't been anywhere.
What I like about that is basically Martin Brazil's gone, look, we have this horse. He's not good enough for this level, so the handicapper can only drop him down. Like I love the placement of him this season for this race.
Yeah, no, same. No, I like to see it. You see him have a good crack at a handicap. He was obviously, the Coral Cup was the target and was unlucky to finish second. And then they've gone, right, we'll get him chasing in races that are too good for him, and we'll come back to the festival in another handicap. So that probably be the one that stands out for me at this stage. Again, another Irish horse. Bar that, probably not too much to talk about from me.
No, it's an interesting race. I mean, obviously, Cool Cody won it last year, and I think Harry's literally eager to get onto the mic. So I know you're going to mention him, aren't you, Harry? You're just going to mention him for this race.
I've got to. I just to do it. I wouldn't be able to live with myself at 40-1 if he came and won this race. So I've just threw a few quid on just because I remember. I remember I was stood with Lee and we'd gone over to the best mate enclosure. And I had an absolute nightmare of a day. And then all of a sudden, Cool Cody, because he got headed. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, surely not. He's coming back round at 25-1. He comes and absolutely sinks in. And I was thinking, oh my God, like this is the best day ever. I love Cool Cody. And that's where my love affair started with him. So he's off 143. Listen, he didn't get raised for beating 10 lengths, beating St. Calvados by 10 lengths, I should say. He's down to 143, I think a couple of pounds lower than what he was last year. He goes from the front 40-1. This is always his target. He runs so well in this race. If you don't fancy 40-1 now, I can't see him being that much shorter on the day. And where Sky Bet will do something, you'll probably get about 15 places with them. So if you can manage to get a bet on with them, I'd probably go with your extra places. Another one I do like, Ash, Balco Coastal for Nicky Henderson. Listen, I just think he got outstayed by Jerry Clum, a proper 3-miler. I'd be disappointed if he didn't take his chance in the Turners. Is it the Turners this year that he's going for? Yeah, it is the Turners. Yeah. I'd be disappointed if he didn't go there because I think he's got a massive chance, and 14-1 suggests. Just going a little bit off topic there. That would suit him right down. A good jumper. He's progressed through the handicap, which is what I like to see. They haven't just threw him into a grade one. He's gone handicaps. He absolutely bolted in, and then he's a length behind Joe Colom, who, to many people, is the banker in Brown Advisory. So, but no, for me, it is Cool Cody. What we did mention, obviously, it's interesting. So Scottish is now with JP, other than Paul Burns. So. Emmett Mullins has done it before with this type of horse, hasn't he? Come off the mark of about 135 Irish to English.
They've done it, didn't they? They took it out with the sprinter, and then they've got now they've changed colours beforehand instead of after.
Yeah, it fairly bolted in. So it's one of those. I think So Scottish, you could argue, is going to be well handicapped. So. But Cool Cody's for me. Come on, Cool Cody.
I think this could be a belting race. Like I went through it. Il Rodotto, he's an interesting horse. Definitely Stage Star if he goes to the race, interesting. Fugitive, I put up ages ago, and he's been slapped £6 for his second to Il Rodotto the last day. And Midnight River, Dan Skelton couldn't talk highly enough about this horse. Like said that he thinks he's a great horse next season. He's even highlighting something like the Many Clouds Chase that could be quite interesting for him next season. So if he's to do that, he probably wants to be going quite well off 152. I think it's quite an interesting race. As I said there, my allegiance is to Fast or Slow currently as one of the few horses. So there's a lot of horses in here, Lee, to have a little look at. What have you landed on?
I kept it simple. I've got two that I like. So Scottish has been running really well. Like we say, he's changed to JP already, but he could have £10 in hand. We don't know about it. But he could have
£100 in hand.
It's true. It could be anything. They've done it with Filey Beer there the other day as well in the Betfair Handicap. And
who beat that horse?
Oh goodness! But look, we don't know what that horse will have. But he's still been running solid races and respectable races as well. So he's solid enough at the top of the market. But I'm a fan of Il Rodotto, as you know. I did put him up for the Grand Annual. I thought the Grand Annual was a race that would suit him, a strong run race. He was out the back in that race and tanked to the bend, but just didn't stay in that ground last season. He's been running in these 2.5 mile handicaps. He ran the Paddy Power behind Galore. Like Frankie was saying, French Dynamite's come out, Midnight River. He's won since, and obviously Il Rodotto won the last day over this trip. So I still think he's got plenty of juice. They pulled a long way clear, like a fugitive in him, pulled a long way clear. And I would say he's my solid bet for the race. But so Scottish could be anything. So 2 against the field there, lads.
Can I just mention Il Rodotto? They were lining up something like the what's the race at Aintree that they go for the national fences?
Red Rum Handicap, is it?
Was it that? It might be it might be over the national fences. That it's not the national, but Topham. Yeah, I think they were lining up potentially the Topham. That's over 2.5.
Right, okay.
Or something near that. But I think they mentioned that. They definitely mentioned Aintree for him, so that could be just a little word of warning for.
It's only because connections is again. You'd want a strong team. They've got like Protectorate and all that in the same colours. You'd want your best team going there, and if you could get as many as you can bullets to fire at the week, maybe they'll take the chance. And since it's won there the last day over that trip, look, it's a solid horse. And if he does go to the top one though, it'd be definitely one to consider.
I'll find the tweet where they sort of told me about it the last time. Midnight Run's also entered this race, so he could have the option of this. But there's one at a price. I've mentioned that I like fast or slow there. There's one at a price that I think is really, really interesting. Call Me Lyrene for Gordon Elliott. One of the Punchestown Festival over hurdles off 138. Won that well that day. Rated only 141 over fences, so £4 below his current hurdles mark. Has won twice over fences, finished second to Visionarian, who's a very, very solid horse at Galway in July. Was ahead of Ganapathy that day. He was actually run a fair race in the Schlur. Fell at Listowel in September, went at 4 out. A race won by Easy Game, and Kenboy was in second. Both very good 150 horses, and Kenboy was like a good 160 horse on his day. He was going well that day and then fell 4 out. Ignore the last run. He was coming with a winning run, 2 out at Punchestown, but then fell. It was a race one by Adamantly Chosen. That was all the way back in, I think, October now at Punchestown. It was a length down, but then absolutely smashed the last fence, and just pulled up, I think, afterwards, or didn't really see out his race. He was coming well, but he messed up the second last. Probably had the beating of Visionarian that day as well, and Midnight Run, who was in third. If he's put up to somewhere near his hurdle mark, like 145, I'd have no issue with that. If he comes over and he gets given £4 by the British handicapper, I think he could be a little bit of a graded horse in the handicap here. I think he's been a little bit missed. So Call Me Lyrene, I give a massive shout to in this race. And that's all the handicaps to cover. We'll go over to the naps. We've given Frankie free reign, any race at the festival, for one horse to go into the naps table, which we'll put on screen now. What do you like for the? What's your nap, Frankie?
I can't see who can possibly beat Mighty Potter.
Ooh.
Someone fancies
Come on, Frankie.
Oh, you fancy that?
Good choice. Good choice.
You look at the Turners, and I can't see a horse in there that beats him. He's got to beat himself. He's just got to jump well. He's an absolute tank of a horse.
Gordon's just said that he's the strongest fancy of the week.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, he's got to be. He's 11 to 8. He's got to be.
I know, but
fancy.
no, but he's got like Delta Whip, and he's got plenty of good choices. But he's his choice of the week. So
I'd say that'd be the horse of the yard. I'd say that'd be like what that horse hopefully does at the festival, and then even on to next year. It's a proper horse.
Do you think, just another one on that then, Frankie? What is it, 11 to 8? I think he's 11 to 8. Would you potentially see that as a little bit overpriced, because he is the best horse in the race? It's just whether he performs, isn't it? So that could be massive.
Yeah, I've said pretty much since DRF, anything above evens.
Yeah.
For me, he's obviously got to get there fit and well, and you do have to get around at Cheltenham. But yeah, I'd take anything over evens.
Would it worry you if Gordon didn't have a winner until then?
Not really. I mean, God, he was having a bit of poor run, even racing at Cheltenham in the early start of the year. Didn't have too much at DRF, did he? Maybe 1 or 2 in the handicaps. and then this horse still went so well.
Yeah.
All the
No,
powder
probably
has been
wouldn't.
kept dry until now, until Cheltenham. We've only got 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think he'd be targeting a big jump. Even his horse is running poorly over here. It's probably a bit of a play, isn't it, as well, to get some well handicapped, earlier on in the January and even the November meets. He brought a lot over and not a lot of them did much. And really, it was probably because I think he actually started them all a little bit later this year as well with Cheltenham in mind. Because he had such an unlucky Cheltenham last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I'd say he should be firing. If he's not, I wouldn't be worried. Honestly, I think he's a machine, this horse.
Come on, the Potter.
I
think you've chosen a popular horse. Lee's put him up already. I've already stated my claim as to why I love this horse. While we're on the topic of Mighty Potter, actually, I've seen some tweets floating about that people don't like him for the Turners because of his Supreme run last season. I don't buy into that at all. If I remember correctly, he ran through a rail on the way to the start of the Supreme, and he absolutely kicked the fourth last into touch. Like, he sent it for 6, and after that, there was absolutely no way he was coming back to that. I would completely just disregard the Supreme run anyway. Mighty Potter, strong fancy here, and I'll go over to Lee first of all for our naps. Week 8, what do you fancy for this race?
I've already put some handicaps up, and obviously I've put Mighty Potter, a few of the prominent ones up. So I'm going to do a double like Harry if I can. And I'm gonna
that's not allowed.
Shorties.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go with Shishkin and the Ryanair because I can't see any danger to him. And just so everyone doesn't after time is, I put him up last week. Harry didn't, so just to get that nail in. But Shishkin, and I think Delta Wake will win the cross country for Gordon as well. So it's a short double. You can maybe get around evens for the each of them, but I'll take the 2 of them.
Does Galvin not worry you?
No. I think Delta Wake ran a solid race off the handicap weight the last day off levels. I know they have been training, and it kind of worked out like that last season, whereas Delta was the one coming into it under the radar, and he was the classy one, and he ended up pipping Tiger Roll. But I think Galvin's just too in and out at the minute, and Delta's already been there and done it, so I'd rather take Delta. I see your case, but no. It's not.
I was all over Delta Work, and I probably still fancy him to win, but I just struggle to have him as a strong bet with Galvin.
Do you know what is a certainty, though? What is a certainty? Like, literally, those 2 will be an absolute distance away from the third. They will. Like, you look at the prices of Tiger and Delta Work last year. I mean, what with the pair of them 2-1 around that price? I mean, how far clear were they? They were about 30 lengths clear, and
the money come for Delta. So if the money comes for
Galvin,
look, we might be in danger, but it's between the 2, and at least then Gordon's took Galvin over to have a sight as well, though.
Yeah, you ran a great race. I have an interesting one for the cross country. I might throw it as my nap for this week. I still am yet to decide between 3 horses. Harry, I'm going to go over to you though for your nap while I sit on it.
This week was actually really tough. Obviously, for some reason you boys nailed me for doing the John Bon Shishkin double last week, but I mean that is a certainty. Like that's just crazy. But I'm going to go walk and risk. Ash, this one for the Grand Annual. I think 8-1's a big. I think it's a big price. It's going to take a really, really well handicapped, probably a grade 1, grade 2 horse that is well handicapped to beat him, and I just can't see anything beating him. His handicap record speaks for itself. He's going back over fences, where I think he's had a couple of pounds higher officially. So I think it's all the boxes are ticked in my eyes, and the boat's going to go steaming in.
Very nice, very nice. I'm going to have to put up a horse, and I'm a forgiving man. And
this could be anything. This could be absolutely anything.
Look, I went through it, and I tried to find one for the Bartlett, and there's 3 horses I like for the Bartlett, so I can't put up one because I need to work out. I need to spend some more time working out which one I'm most confident on for the Bartlett. I will probably have that sorted for next week. Again, I was going to mention Roy Marge for the cross country. 25's got a handicap mark for the Grand National. I think the horse is really good, and he might. But I don't think he's going to come in that much, so he could just be one to play on the day. I'm going to go for a little bit of a dark horse, a little bit of a forgotten horse, and the Mare's Chase. I haven't put one up yet, and I appreciate, and I think I've actually told Harry what I'm going to put up, but I appreciate.
This is stupid.
I appreciate the top two in the market. I think Allegory Devassi and Impervious are very good. I think the only forgotten horse in this race is Riviere de Tel. And I'm going to put Riviere de Tel up. Now, her record going left-handed, even though she jumps out to her right, is not bad at all. She ran a great race in the Arkle last year, ran to an RPR of 144. Ran a great race there. Going Leopardstown as well, second to Blue Lord in the Irish Arkle. Before that, second to Fernie Hollow. And if this was any other horse, but if you forget last run, where there was nothing going for it, Carlisle, absolutely nothing going for it, 14 days after running second to Captain Guinness, which again is fantastic form, only 14 days after that, travelling over, you can put a line straight through that, I think, because it just never went for her that day. I won't have this as she's gone at the game. She's only 6. I know she's a mare, and she's like, mares can be a little bit difficult, but last season she was such a solid horse. She was such a solid horse. She jumped out to her right, but she was just solid, gave it her all. And I think there's a big run in her. I think she's really a little bit underestimated in the market. The Fernie Hollow form works out really well. The Blue Lord form works out really well.
What price is she at?
She's 22 to 1. 22 to 1 on my screen. So she's absolutely massive. The Arkle just didn't work for her. She tried to make all from the front, jumped out to her right a little bit. Potentially the Friday track could just suit her a bit better. I think she wants that step up in trip as well. Like in the Arkle, she just got overtaken by quicker horses on the day. She stayed on a little bit as well, but she's just been done by Edwardstone, who's now a Tingle Creek winner and could be champion chase winner.
Would you not be worried that Allegory Devassi could literally lap her?
Oh yeah. No, I would be worried, but she's got better form by far. Riviere de Tel's got better form by far. Like Allegory Devassi has not really beaten much, but she's done it really well, and I respect her. I respect Impervious a lot, but would I dare say she's probably got the best form coming into this race? I think that's it's not an outrageous shout. She was run second to Blue Lord, who went and won at Christmas and
then got tonked.
Yeah, but you forgive Harry.
I'm not forgiving him. I'm not forgiving him.
Look, Blue Lord's a live player in the Ryanair. Fernie Hollow is everyone thinks Fernie Hollow was at the time a very, very good horse, and she's ran to within a length of that. And that even that Captain Guinness horse from this season, I know she was in receipt of weight, but that horse is a 161 horse and a fairly decent one for Henry de Bromhead. He's beaten someone else in the race as well. Andy Dufresne was back behind, and Andy Dufresne was only given Riviere de Tel £4, so she's ran out of a mark there. I think 22 to 1 massive. I've rambled a little bit there, but I'm actually quite happy with that. And Riviere de Tel 22 to 1. Mare's Chase locked in. We'll get the audience snap. It's locked in. Have it. I had a FaceTime. Funny enough, I had a FaceTime from Josh Stacey the other week after our video, and he went, just want to check everything's okay at home, Ash. And I was like, why is that? He went, well, me and Andrew just sat here watching the video, and we think we've just heard you say the real whacker as your nap for this.
Yeah, I know you're mental. Right, Frankie, I tell you what, we'll play a little game here. Okay, so I'll go through all of Ash's selections so far from episode 1. Bear in mind we're on episode 8 now. So just let me know what you think of these. Just reel them off. So Irish Point for the Ballymore. Common practice at 25 for the Boodles. Bell the Lioness at 25 to 1 for the Mares Novices. Echoes in Rain at 12 to 1 for the Mares Hurdle. Conflated at 12s for the Gold Cup.
Live player.
Imagine at 12 to 1 for the County or Martin Pike, both non-running money back.
Live
and
player.
The real whacker at 5 to 1.
Live player.
He's not a live player.
I had a rush of blood to the head, but I'm happy with the real whacker. I've sat on it for a week, and I'm happy with it. I went through.
I don't know what type they are now, mind, but
I keep telling you to stop going out on whenever it is.
Conflated aren't the worst shots in the world, are they?
I mean, Bell the Lioness should be 250 to 1. Common Practice won't win the Boodles. Irish Point will never win the Ballymore if he started now. Echoes in Rain's 12 to 1. I don't think to be fair, I think Brandy Love's still better than her. Conflated Gallop. I mean, seriously, like, Ash, those that have followed you in here are ruining themselves.
Look, Harry, you put blue.
I wouldn't be buying your book off you anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't be buying my book for myself either. Harry, you've literally put Blue Lord up for 2 races. So,
and
it's not going to win either. It's not going to win either. It's going to be incredible when it doesn't win either.
Well, then when Jumbo or Shishkin wins, and when both of them win, it's happy days. Facile Vega's going to win the Supreme, so.
Fair enough. We gave him plenty of stick last week.
Yeah, he'll win. He'll win the Supreme, Frankie. No, 7-2. I waited. To be fair, I was like, I'm never going to get the 20-1, so I can't get another tattoo. Do you know what? Me saying this like Carl Froch saying, do you know what? I fought in front of 80,000 people at Wembley. Mine's like, do you know I got Facile Vega tattooed on my arse at 20-1. But no.
Awful. Anyway, enough of dissing my my anti-post book. That's all we got time for this week. If you did enjoy, please do like, subscribe. Frankie, thank you very much for coming on and making your debut on the YouTube channel. You did our Cheltenham Festival preview on the Twitter last year, so it's nice to have you back. How have you enjoyed things?
A pleasure, gents, as always, and
Thanks,
hopefully some winners in there. Hopefully, we're watching and St Kilda's has won at the weekend. That way, nice. Put some money in the pocket for Cheltenham.
Stick with Mighty Potter.
And then, Mighty Potter. That's all we need to conclude from this show, I think. Mighty Potter will win, and anything over even is a job well done.
Yeah, it's incredible how I fancy Mighty Potter the most, and yet he's still not in my anti-post book. If you did enjoy, please do like, subscribe. Lee, we've got a competition running on our Twitter.
Yeah, from Racing Tees. It's a Richie Silks hoodie. So we'll announce the winner on Saturday on the live at 10:30, and then we've got a big bundle coming up on our Cheltenham preview, which is the 9th of March at 7:30, which is streaming live as well. So we've got a big bundle from them at Racing Tees 1 on Twitter.
Yeah, and we've got our big Cheltenham Festival preview that we've announced on Twitter. A fantastic lineup we've got going ahead. If you haven't checked out already, do check out the details on our Twitter. It's going to be happening the 9th of March, I believe, at 7:30. Stream to our YouTube and our Twitter, and the video will be available afterwards. So make sure to check it out. If you have enjoyed, please do like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Follow the Only Fools Love Horses account on Twitter as well. We'll see you for our anti-post preview of the weekend on Wednesday. Thank you very much and have a good week.